The bloopers. Okay.
All right.
Amazing. Hi, and welcome everybody.
Hello.
To this beautiful transmission. Thank you so much for being here. I'm with my good friend, soul sister, and collaborator of the stars of the infinite universe into this space with you all. And let us arrive into this moment, into this conversation, into this activation, this transmission through taking a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I'm just thanking everyone for being here today. And why are we here? I am going to be sharing some powerful information with you through asking Solara some incredible questions. I have known Solara for about 3 years now, right? 3 or 4 years.
I think it's been 4.
3, yeah. It is probably, actually it's 4.
Yeah.
And we are currently collaborating on a flow optimized mastermind in January. And I thought it would be fun, as we were talking about how to share this with you all, to make these really powerful videos so that you can learn more about flow. What is flow? How it can amplify your experiences in the physical reality. So I'm going to ask Solara some questions and we will take it from there. So beautiful. Are you ready?
I'm so ready. I'm excited because I don't know what the questions are.
So. No, we haven't rehearsed this. Amazing. So, I would love for you to share with us what is flow in your reality. What is flow to you?
What is flow to me? Well, it's the source code of pure, divine, positive source energy, cosmic currency, vibrational currency, life force, creative life force, sensory integration, the most expanded, accelerated, pristine divine frequencies in all of existence. They operate at such a pure, supersymmetrical, synergistic level of consciousness. And the way that I experience that energy is as an omni-intelligence. So it is completely androgynous. It's the perfect harmony of the masculine and feminine principle, meaning that we're receiving and creating simultaneously. So it's, in the being and the doing merge and become one. And when we are in this supersonic, coherent embodiment of divine intelligence, essentially what we're embodying is the fabric of quantum universal divine intelligence itself, and we're allowing the pure power and electromagnetic energy of that fabric to course through our vessel, and it creates simultaneously. So what we are experiencing in the now moment when we are in flow is, one, changing what our past had to be to get us to this moment. So we're healing and resolving our entire past, and we're also out manifesting and creating our future forward. And the glory of it is it manifests everything that is in alignment with our heart and our soul. So it's not just manifesting in one area of our life or 2 areas of our life, it impacts everything. So it also super simplifies the purpose to live in aligned flow in every single here and now. And by virtue of that, everything else takes care of itself. So we literally become these glorious living vortexes of what we would consider to be miracles, but really it's just an extension of our being and our embodiment of flow. So it's, to me, it's purpose.
Oh, I love that. Flow is purpose. Oh, and what is like a powerful kind of process that you could share with us to align back into flow? Because I know sometimes with my day, I can feel when I'm in flow because there's a spaciousness, there's an ease of which I'm driving my car, or I'm picking up the groceries, or someone's emailing me at the moment that I needed them to, or there's an invitation that happens. It's just like I feel like I'm in synergy with the created reality around me, and I'm aware of the harmony that's created. To me, flow is harmony. What's what's a powerful process that you do daily to kind of get into that alignment?
Yeah, so I'm going to actually touch on a few things. So first we're going to start with the metaphysical, and then we're going to move into the kind of practical and what's actually happening in the brain with this. So part of it too is our vision and how we know ourselves, see ourselves, engage with reality, and the lens that we are seeing through. So one of the things that I contemplate often is the super nature of self, of genius. What is that energy? And I see through a holographic lens. And so one way to relate this is, you know, the glorious and precising sacred geometrical mathematical pattern that we see running its intelligence through all life, our DNA, our RNA, our fingerprints, plants, fruits, vegetables, animal coats, you name it. Everything has this glorious design. So I focalize that, and I'm very aware that that is all that is. It fills and permeates and courses through our being, the spaces in between, the energetic pathways of, I see it as quantum mind, just like we have neural networks in our brain. It expands out into the quantum mind, and I perceive myself as the infinite. So yes, I am Solara, this individuated expression of source intelligence, but I am also my space, my environment, Mother Gaia, the galaxies, the cosmos, all the way out into the infinite. So one way to open that flow is simply that. I call it instant expansion. So we can start to notice in our body when we are contracted, and we're doing this, we're protecting, we've got walls up, there's resistance or friction in our being. And the most rapid way to start replenishing our neurochemicals and getting more flow back online is to release and expand our energy all the way out. There's deep breath work is profoundly supportive for this, because it shifts us out of fight or flight and into the parasympathetic nervous system. But we all ultimately want to create a balance, because there's some wisdom in that fight or flight. We just don't want it to be compelled by those mechanisms. But it does enable the motion that is, when we're in flow, it becomes leverage. So it's a fun, exciting, exhilarating, compelling force versus a pushing force. So to drop in and open, so to focalize on sensorily, somatically opening and expanding the body through the breath, the heart, absolute trust. It's the diamond octave. We are totally open. We are envisioning ourselves as that pure, pristine, diamond white light, and seeing that light permeating all facets of our creation, our reality, until we're at the outer reaches of infinite creation, and knowing all is the self. And then it's safe to open, to trust, to expand. And we're knowing everything as source that we are engaging with. So we're only allowing source, and we're only interacting with source, because that's all that is. So practicing that embodiment. And there are 4 primary flow cycles that we go through. So this seems to be a part of the cycle. While we're still evolving the brainstem, there is a small area of what we would call resistance, friction, struggle. It's where we're pushing, we feel frustrated, our energy's pent up in our system, we've got all that frustration going on. This can last for a micromillisecond, or it can last for hours to days to weeks, depending on what we do when we're in that space. So when we're in that state, the immediate thing to do is to surrender and to release. Go into no mind, deep relaxation, letting go in every conceivable way possible, just chilling out, taking a break. And this is why play is so powerful, because when we go play, we release resistance from our system. And when there's no resistance, there's flow, which means things can start to re-enter into our reality and our experience. So I come from the vantage point of super attraction first. The feminine principle leads the masculine. And these stages of flow, so I'm just going to name them really quickly. So there's resistance, there's release, and then when we go into release, nitric oxide is released throughout the brain and the body, which clears out all toxins and reopens our neural pathways and allows us to start replenishing the pleasure-producing, feel-good chemicals that are active in the brain in flow, that we burn through by the time we get to the resistance phase. And we think we're doing something wrong, but really our brain actually needs that replenishment and that refueling. So it's healthy to give that to ourselves. So to go into release, when we go into release, that nitric oxide clears out all the stress hormones, all of that, and flow starts to come back online. And then we're in a flow state. So we harness and leverage and play with that flow while it's online. And then we can start to feel our system going, okay, you know, the shift, you know, we've burned through these neurochemicals. So now recovery and rejuvenation are required. So that's when we go into active rejuvenation. So this is hot and cold therapy, going for a walk on the beach, in the mountains, surfing, power yoga, anything that we can do to calm and relax our system, where we're more engaged with the sensory experience than the mind or doing or planning or any of that. It's active recovery, long, luscious, hot, savory salt baths with incense and candles and essential oils, with beautiful instrumental music playing, all of those things that we do to luxuriate and romance our own soul, go into recovery, and then the cycle starts over again. I like to chunk that into two primary aspects to keep it simple. You're either fully fueled and all of your neurochemicals are replenished and active and online, or you need to replenish them. So it's active rejuvenation. And if we can masterfully navigate that in our own experience by following our own intuitive body navigation, our intuition, our rhythms, our cycles, that can become a more seamless experience for us. So to not push past our own, to try to push through the resistance or the struggle, or try to push through needing the recovery, but really fine tuning to what our body is calling for and allowing ourselves to have that. And so because everything works off of attraction, the most powerful piece is to literally lean back. And I always love to utilize the vision, you know, because it's just, I'm a woman and I love to be pampered and supported by my creation. And we're often in service, right? We're givers, we're contributors, we create a lot, we produce, we're very present to be in service. What we often don't remember to give ourselves or feel as, or we don't feel quite as allowing to give ourselves, is the space of allowing our creation to support us, leaning back on our glorious royal throne of destiny and going, okay, creation, I am open wide to receive, bless me, nourish me, replenish me, allow our own chalice to be filled. And so I lead from that space. The chalice is filled first, and then that produces a natural, inspired outward flow and movement that's coming from the most pure, authentic place in my vessel. And it's not pushed, it's not forced in any way. So practices, contemplate your infinite nature, connect in direct dialogue and communication with the divine quantum fabric of universal intelligence. Ask and it is yours. So remembering to open up that dialogue and to allow creation to be that simple. That's the attraction piece. It's when we realize it's that simple, it sparks so much free energy in our being. And then also being aware of what our sacred holy body temple needs. Do I need rejuvenation right now? Or am I in a space where I have all this creative fuel, and how do I want to focalize and direct that into my dreams, my desires, my visions, my goals, so that I'm moving in the trajectory of their crystallization?
It's so powerful. You know, I had a conversation with someone today who is a very successful, you know, multi 8-figure business owner, like $10 million company. And I said, like, how do you do it? Like, how do you manage to hold that amount of space for these things? And she was like, well, I actually, it's not that much work, because I prioritize what's important to me first, and I let everything else flow around that. And, you know, obviously she's been doing this for a few years, so she's gone on to create a team. And one of the biggest things that I see people struggling with, even when we have those levels of success in our businesses, is knowing when to come back into the self and redefine what the schedule looks like, what the busyness looks like, what the time looks like in terms of what we are spending that time on, what we're focusing on. And there's so much transformation and change that can happen when we actually come back into the self and the cells, and listen to what the body needs so that we can realign. And I love how you phrased all of that. And anyone listening to this, like, you know, listen to this a few times and take some notes, because there's lots of golden nuggets in there for us to really optimize our performance, to come into come to the peak. And especially as light workers, way showers, good workers, however we identify ourselves, we're all awake. We should be, you know, really in our most optimum selves, because what that does is it creates a bigger impact, not only in our businesses, but in our personal lives, in our relationships, and our friendships, and also just in the joy of our experiences. And so that's why flow is not just I was talking to someone about this as well. It's like, you know, you have Eskimos have 150 words for snow, because there's so many different varieties and types of snow dependent on the conditions. And flow is similar to that. If flow could have 150 different definitions and even more, that's the language of flow that we're learning. And that's why, you know, as I'm collaborating with you on this mastermind and those that we're calling in, is to really optimize and learn the definitions of what those words are, what the vibration of flow is, that we can tune into on a daily basis to come, you know, almost like you see the energetic pattern kind of reforming itself into the most aligned version of itself. And as we continue to do that, and especially in such a powerful container, what we're holding space for, it's really, you know, sending rocket ships up into the cosmos of all of our desires and intentions to kind of sparkle down and rain down on our year and in our years to come. So my next question for you and for those listening is, there was a question coming through, but it's kind of an energetic question. So I'm gonna just take a moment to rephrase how I can explain this in English. Because there's flow on the physical level, there's flow on the emotional level, and then there's flow on the spiritual level. So I want to ask you a question of, you know, because this is the biggest question that I get asked, and it's almost like the one of the most important really is like flowing with the higher self over the wants of the ego, and really flowing with the multidimensional version of self. And, you know, how do you feel when you know that you have that synergy with your higher self, when that higher self, that source consciousness is flowing through you? What are some of the like experiences and benefits that you've found from that, when you're in that state where everything is lined up, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, and you really feel that like line of energy coming through you? Like, what have you noticed, like experience, like what are the miracles that happen in your life?
Oh, wow. That's such a...
like, I don't know, give me your top three. What was like the best three flow state? I'm aligned, I'm tapped in, turned on, I'm connected to my higher self. Like, what are some of the experiences that you've had? Like maybe like instant manifestation, or I don't know, like...
Yeah. Well, when I'm in that state, I can see the energy. I mean, I see it anyways, but it could become so augmented when I'm in that space. So it really is a toroidal vortex. It's a toroidal field. So if you imagine that fabric of divine intelligence that is ever present, existing in its perfect, whole, and complete state, it is always there. The question is, are we aligned and synergized with it? And when we're aligned and synergized with it, the 5 most potent neurochemicals in the brain are all activated at the same exact time. So norepinephrine and dopamine, so this is romantic love, endorphins, maternal bonding, serotonin, which is social security and confidence and safety, and anandamide, which is we're open to new experiences, adventures, and other people, and oxytocin, which is trust, and the frequency of family and tribalism and deep interconnection and warmth. And so all of that is activated, which is stronger than any external substance, experience, anything, anything that we can introduce to the body externally. So when we're in that, like, we're literally high on life when that is happening, and flow is the actual result that we're seeking. So it's really important to know that too. We think that we're seeking the manifestations, but we're actually seeking is the flow that kicks online for us when the manifestation lands. So if we can always just bring it back to that, and to know that that is really what our ultimate desire is, to feel, know, and experience ourselves as the infinite self in every moment, and to be so enthralled by who and what we are, then we can always return back to that as our point of orientation. High, open, expanded frequency. What do I need to do to be in that frequency? But things that I've manifested lovers, romantic proposals. I've manifested, 35K and beyond, just, cash in my business and my service. I have manifested glorious homes and just gifts. And even just before we hopped on this call, it's just simple things. These are the things that light my heart up the most. I went to close the window a little bit because it's starting to get chillier here, and there are just ladybugs everywhere, like on the inside of the window, on the ceiling. So like animal totems, the presence of my companions, I call them my supernatural networks, because it's like having networks in the physical realm, except these are our supernatural light allies and companions that we can call upon. So feeling and knowing their presence. Goodness gracious, opportunities that are mind-blowing. I've been invited on adventures and vacations in some of the most stunning homes that I've ever been in my life, like literally living inside of an animated fairy tale, except it's real world, tangible, and then they're experiencing it in the flesh, the kind of ecstasy and unconditional love that just sends butterflies of warmth through your sacral and your solar plexus and your heart, just being moved to tears and awe and reverence of life, feeling so free, so open, so expanded, with the deep inner knowing that not only is everything perfect and okay, but that everything is provided and supplied, and just feeling the richness of that permeate my being and my cells, and having romantic relationship and union with life in every single moment. And, in those spaces where, and this is what really the gift of flow is, an opening to cellularly integrating it in our being, is that we start to experience everything as a reflection of God. And so, we're not engaging with people's patterns or egos anymore. For me, I'm always listening for the divine message. I'm like doing this dance with the beloved. So when I'm talking to a person, I'm with the beloved. I'm like, what sacred insights and revelations and messages do you have for me? And what can I offer you? What kind of love can I provide for you in this moment? And so all of life becomes this kind of mystical, enchanting space. We literally are architecting our own paracosm, we call it holosphere, our own worlds that we're living in. And in the moment where that's, the moments where that's not online and we're making these fine-tuned adjustments, there's surrender, let go, fall back into the feather bed. I call it the way I see it is it's literally like the golden hands of God or creation just catching me. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to let you have all this for a few moments. Like, I'm going to stop needing to be the one who needs to do everything, and I'm going to let you take care of it. So just noticing when we need to give that to ourselves and being compassionate and empathetic. But yeah, everything manifests in that field.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I was just like, I went on this little adventure with you. I was like, I never saw the ladybugs. And then we went in a mansion. It's beautiful. Well, this has been great, Solara. Thank you so much for, just like sharing your wisdom with us. And this is a lot of what we're going to be diving deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into in our mastermind in January. And we're calling in a very beautiful circle of beings. So if this resonates with you, you want to find out more, then reach out to us. We can send you the invitation, the details. And if you have more questions, we're happy to hop on a call as well. And yeah, we look forward to those that are guided to dive in deeper with us, because we will be sharing a lot of tools and systems and additional kind of like supportive materials and courses and things, and as well as, you know, our weekly live mastermind containers and DNA activations. And we're going to be journeying together in this space for 3 months, which is a really great intentional container, and really setting up these first 3 months for 2021 and really the next decade. You know, really like shifting and clearing. And, you know, we're going to be really like teaching a lot about like specific cleansing pieces and just everything, just really just so that we can optimize our experience and really step deeper into those roles that we're here to play for each other and the planet. So reach out to us. We'll link the details as well, along with this recording that you're listening to. Solara, you've been great as always. Thank you so much. Excited to journey with you in January. And yeah, let us know what came through for you from watching this. If you have any questions, reach out to us, and we look forward to connecting.
I love you all so, so much. And I just want to weave through one very important, potent piece. You're going to be receiving some of the most optimal tools that are accessible on our planet. Zoe and I both have extensive training and experience. And so we want you to know that you're very held and supported in that. The most valuable piece, when we have a group of us together coursing flow in divine frequencies through our vessel, it literally amplifies and augments how much flow is accessible to each one of us. It supports the sensory integration of that flow in the container. So by virtue of one another's presence, we are literally calibrating and expanding one another. And it's a sequence that is catalyzed and activated in our DNA that is non-reversible. And the sheer potency and power of that, in the ways that through that personal transformation, we change the world in powerful, astonishing ways. And so I just want to really connect to the heart of community that is accessible through this experience, and the power, the creative power that is going to be available in this container with all of us. Because yes, we are bringing our gifts and our mastery, but so are all of you. So are all of you. I am anticipating learning a lot from everybody in this experience. And so I invite you to feel into the essence and the heart of that, especially for the holidays. Oh, that was a piece I wanted to bring through with connecting to flow and how it feels. It feels like holiday cheer to me.
Yeah.
Open, expanded, happy, optimistic, bright outlook. And it's just so natural to the heart of who we are. Come like a child to enter the kingdom. And in that, we're also just very clear. What?
Oh my gosh.
Who is it? What is it?
It's like a little butterfly moth. Look, it's flying around. It's like, hello.
How it's just like that. And that's how fast.
Oh my gosh.
You know, we talk about it.
Look at this guy.
It's so beautiful.
Where is he?
He's gone. Thank you.
Oh, he's flying around.
For gracing us with your magical presence.
Oh, blessings,
Oh,
blessings. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, just like that. Oh.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, amazing, Sarah. Thank you, everyone. Yes, come join us. Much love.
See you all soon. Mwah.